Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's episode of Skyfactory 5. We're going to start doing applied energistics today, so let's get right into it. Alright, everybody, to start off today, I did a few things in between episodes. I made our mob farm a little better. I put some vector belts in there and made a mob masher so that we don't have to use power in there. I moved some stuff around just so our base is a little bit cleaner. I also made our base a little bit taller, and I smelted some ores and just kind of prepped for today's episode. So let's get right into it. So today we are going to be getting into applied energistics, which is good because then we can get rid of all of these chests that we've been just kind of using this entire time, and hopefully we can upgrade our furnaces to some redstone furnaces. So the first thing we're going to need in applied energistics is we're going to need this controller. So how do we do that? So we need to make the inscriber press for the inscriber that we made the other day. So in between episodes, I got some steel. The easiest way to get that steel is to use an induction smelter. So I used the induction smelter and made some steel just like this. You just need iron dust and coal coke, which the way that you get coal coke is just by using that coal in the coke oven. So I made that steel so that we can get our first engineered processing unit. So let's get this inscribing press. So we're going to need some skystone, that steel plate, which we're going to use the engineer's hammer to get the steel plate. Alright, we've got all of these stuff to make this inscriber press. So let's make it, and let's start making our inscriptions that we need to make. And just like that, there's all of the flux crystals that we're going to need right now. If we need any more flux crystals, we'll do the same thing and just end up getting more flux crystals. So now that we've got those, we need to make this skystone. So the way that you make skystone is by throwing skystone dust in a smelter and then smelting that skystone into skystone blocks. And there's our first engineering press. So now that we've got all of these, we're going to make that controller. And boom, there's our controller. So this is what we're going to use to start our ME system. So we're just going to place it right here to start. And then we need to make some of these cables so that we can connect the other stuff to it. So the way to make some of these cables is we're going to need to make Flux ME crystal cables. So we're going to need quartz cables first, which is going to use some of that surge quartz dust that we just got, and we're going to put it in a crafting table just like this and make quartz fiber. And then we're going to make some more flux crystal, or we're going to take our flux crystals and turn this into Flux ME crystal cable, or Flux ME glass cable. So we're just going to throw this on top just like that, and then we are going to make a ME crafting grid to start. So now that we've got our ME crafting terminal, we are actually going to have to make a drive bay, which is going to hold all of our drives. We're going to put drives in this to basically have our storage. So as you can see on this one, it can hold 63 different types of items basically, and it can hold up to 1,024 bytes of those certain items. So we're going to make this ME crafting, or this ME drive, just basically the same way that we did. We're just going to have to make a few more of those engineering processors, and we're going to use some of our cables and make our ME drive. And boom, we've got our ME drive. So we're just going to put our ME drive right next to our controller just so that it can read it, and our system now is functional. So now we need to pump power into this, and then we need to make our first ME drive, which our first ME drive is going to be pretty simple. I'm actually going to make the 4K one, which all it takes is 3 of these 1K ones. And there's our first ME drive, guys. So we're going to throw our first ME drive in here and start emptying our inventory into here. So now we can take all of this stuff that we had and just kind of put it in here. Not too much, obviously, because it can only hold 63 types. So if we had something like a bunch of different swords, then this wouldn't be the best thing to use for it. but we're also going to be using external storage things, because the external storage will, or external storage cables, so that we can actually just basically use other chests and things as storage for it additionally. Now that we have that, let's start getting into auto crafting. So the things that we're going to need for auto crafting is a few of these ME pattern providers, and there's our ME pattern provider. So in addition to this, we are going to need these crafting co-processors, and we're going to need some crafting storage also, because we can't craft any of these things without actually having the crafting storage. So I'm going to make a few of these, and I'm going to make one of these modular assemblers. It's basically going to work as a crafting table for us to craft in, and another one of these pattern providers just so that we can keep crafting with it. And I'll be right back. I got our inscriber picked up, and I got our ME crafting pattern grid, I got our co-processing unit, I got our 1K storage, and our molecular assembler. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to use some of this ME covered cable, and we are actually going to come down here and start auto crafting. So the first thing we need to do is put one of these storage units down and put a crafting above it. So the reason why we do this is because this is basically going to start our crafting for us. And then the way that we want to auto craft in this assembler is we're going to want to place that, and then place that on top, and then place the molecular assembler on the side of it. So the way that we're going to use this inscriber is we're basically going to put an export or an import bus on it, which basically means it's going to import into our system. And then we're going to put patterns in this with all the things that we want, which we are actually going to need a different type of ME terminal to actually see that. We're going to need a ME pattern encoding terminal. I'm back, and we've made these patterns. So the most simple thing that we're going to do is we are going to start auto crafting with our provider, or our inscriber. So the way that we're going to do this is we are actually going to put it in here, and we are going to auto craft it without the actual thing, so that whenever it goes in there, it's not actually giving the incorrect recipe for it. Because if we put it with the inscribing press in there, it's going to basically try to pull it out every time, but we're just going to keep it in there. And we also need to click auto extract, and from that we should be able to start auto crafting. So let's take two of these out, and let's make one of them, which we don't have the silicone yet because we need to make a process to basically smelt that silicone and make it automatic, but we will do that next episode. And I think that's all the time that we have for this episode. Thank you guys for watching this and watching me get my applied energetics system. Alright, we're gonna end today's episode just like we did yesterday by opening some of those hat bags and seeing what kind of hats we get. So let's open them up and see what hats we're gonna get that we can wear next episode. So we got the Springer hat, which let's switch out our hats and just kind of see what they look like. We got the acorn hat, which is gonna kind of make us look like an acorn. We got the halo, which that's actually pretty cool. I think we're gonna wear that one next episode. And we got the dumb sticker for the front of our face. So I think we're gonna end up wearing that halo and the dumb one next episode. And thank you guys for watching this episode. Thank you guys for watching today's episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.